Well, hello everybody and welcome to the live stream. Today is a day of live stream where we are going to be doing some live designing inside of Figma, playing with interactive components and smart animation, drinking my favorite legend spicy nootropic performance drink, and talking with everybody in the chat. Ashish219 is in the chat. Carlo DeCook, Emmanuel DeRessi, one of my amazing members, Masayu, is in the chat. You can tell because they have a green title and a fun little emoji thumbs up next to their name. That's because they're one of my members. Hey, if you want to become one of my members, consider hitting that little join button and joining Masayu and the rest of the gang. They get behind the scenes footage and first access to videos and files and all sorts of good stuff. So make sure you do that. That'd be super fun. And if you're not into that, hey, maybe just hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That'd be super appreciated. That way other people know this content could be for them. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're coming from. Also, I'd love to know, are you drinking coffee or are you drinking tea? What are you drinking? If it's something you shouldn't be drinking at a time you shouldn't be drinking it, then don't tell me. I don't want to know about that one. Okay, and Lee is in the chat as well. Hey, we're going to be doing some fun stuff today. And Rocco says, love your live streams, Jesse. Always learning so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm so excited you're here. So excited that you're here. Hey, speaking of that, why don't we jump over to my desktop and let's take a look at the project for the day. I just got done doing a Dribble workshop. And in the Dribble workshop, I actually built this really fun cryptocurrency application. We did, oh man, it was like 6 hours of design where I talked about my process. We talked about grids and typography, alignment and layout. I walked through presentations. We had practice, like different practice files we all worked on. But we had this little onboarding and I never got to it because even though 6 hours sounds like a lot, it's not a lot of time. So I wanted to get to it. And I also just recently got my beta invite to the Figma interactive components. It's going to be launching soon, but right now it should be in beta. So if you don't have it and you're wondering today as we work on some interactive components, why is mine not working? That is why, because maybe you're not part of the beta. All right. So get on that beta action. I think you have to just go to the community, find the file for interactive components. Let's go find it, shall we? Figma just did an update. So let's go and find it. We're going to go here to home. Let's go to our community. They switched where the community tab is. I'm going to be telling you, I'm not a fan of it. But that's okay. I don't like where the community, I like where the community tab was before, right? I liked where it was before. Components. Let's do a quick search for it and see why my internet is so slow today. Okay, well, how about we do this then? Let's look for Figma, and there's Figma. Come on, Figma. Let's find you. And it should have been in here somewhere. Anyways, you find the interactive components one in there, and then you can apply for the beta. But that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's start with the basics, shall we? Let's do a little basic interactive component stuff. I'm going to move myself over and out of the way. Hello, Shilpa and Mimo and Ashish and everybody. And Chase Webb says my YouTube notification worked. Got me in here. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, let's build a little interactive component. Let's just do the basics of it really quickly, shall we? We got this button. We got a button, don't we? Okay, let's go find the master component. Let's go to the main component really quickly. Here is our main component. Now you can see I'm using variants, which is a great thing. You should be, if you don't know how to use variants, you basically just take your one button, your component, come over to the side here, and there is a variant option. All right. Once you create a variant, it puts this really fun little box around it. I can select a button and then I can create a new variant. Let's create a new variant really quickly. Why not? Let's do it. Could be fun. I'm going to select the filled one. And I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna pop that guy in there. Now let's do this. Over in our layers panel, we have a filled and outlined. I'm gonna call this filled hover. Let's call it filled hover, shall we? And let's put it right below our filled state. What are we gonna do to this guy? We're gonna change it to the brand blue. Okay. Now that's really cool because then we can go in our assets, we can go into our buttons, we drag a single button out, and then we can say, do we want the filled or do we want the outlined? Which one do we want? And for some reason, we did not get our hover state in there, but we should get our hover state. Or maybe it's taking the word hover and it knows. Let's go test like that. Hello, test. You're not in there. Okay, I'm gonna start from scratch because boy, oh boy, when you have something that's just not working. So let's do this. I'm gonna detach this instance, right? Let's detach this instance. I'm gonna bring this thing over here and I'm gonna say button and I'm gonna make a component out of it and then I'm gonna make my variant. Let's just start from scratch. Boom, now we have a variant. Okay, and I'm gonna take the brand blue and let's fill it with yellow. Okay, we're just playing around. We want it to be really, really obvious. Okay, now we have the default. Okay, and now we have this other variant too. Let's call it hover. See, when we rename it over in the context or in the inspector panel, it renames it over here as well. Okay, so now what we want to do is we should be able to drag this out and choose which one we want, right? Okay, now it's working. Don't know why the other one wasn't working, but we want to take it a step further. In the past, if we wanted to create hover instances, we had to have separate artboards and oh boy, we had to like animate back and forth just for something like a simple micro interaction like this. But now we don't got to do that. Now we don't got to do it. We just use interactive components. I'm going to come up to prototype. I'm going to prototype to the button and I'm going to say on hover. And then I get this new option that says change to. On hover, I'm going to change to, right? My hover state. And okay, let's smart animate it. We can choose some easing or whatever, but then we want to go back, boom, on hover, we want to change to, okay? So now we should be able to, right, bring an instance of this button in here, booyakasha like this, and let's move our little prototypey start homey thing over to there and press play. And now we should get some immediate while I'm hovering. Oh, we're getting some weird flickering. Why? Why are we getting weird flickering? Whoa, is it timed? What is happening in my demo this morning? Yikes, bro. On hover, switch to hover. On hover, this is why it's in beta. Are we still having problems in beta? Boy, it wasn't before. It really, really wasn't. Let's try something a little simpler. Instead of on hover, let's go on click. Shall we? Let's do on click. Let's see on click if that works. Boom. We're still getting issues. It's just animating. It's just animating. Why is it just animating? Holy cow. You know, you start out your Friday and you're like, this will be fun. Okay, so I'm going to click. The click is working. Hovers are not working so great. Okay, that's fine. But you can see it's the same premise, right? Smart layers, smart animation happening there. Okay, so that's what we want, is to have a little bit of smart animate or interactive components happening. Okay, you can also do timed interactions. You should be able to do drag interactions, but that's definitely a thing. Okay, so here's what we want to do then. How can we apply this to our landing page here? Well, our onboarding flow. Well, instead of having 3 separate artboards, we could technically have each one of these be interactive components, right? And when those interactive components change, well, we can make the whole thing a component and then change let's do that. That'll be the fun way to go. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take onboarding 1 and I'm going to drag this out. You can see what I actually have is all 3 of the images kind of tucked in there, okay? So let's head back over to our layers really quickly. I'm going to kind of close everything up. This is my images, okay. And then we have our rectangle. Let's call that our card. And we have our little branding at the top. Now we have we need to do the same thing we did with the images. We need to do that with our all of our little statements here, don't we? Yes, we do. So let's just drag some of these statements out here, boom, 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 and bring it all in like that. So we're not going to be doing, little interactive components on everything. We're going to be doing interactive components on the entire artboard, which is going to be a fun experiment. Maybe we'll get weird flickering stuff. Maybe we won't. This is why it's a live stream, because we're going to play with stuff. Okay. So there we go. We have our little statements in there and we have our images in there. So let's go ahead really quickly and just call these, what do we call these? Value props. Okay. These are our little value propositions. Okay, cool. And again, we don't need to turn those into things, into interactive components. This is our little active state. Let's pop that inside of we're calling this our pagination. What I love about these live streams, and maybe you love this too, is that I don't have it all worked out. I'm gonna do things imperfectly. I hope you guys like that. Okay, cool. Jaime Jimenez says, "What's up, man? The meeting that we had helped a lot. Have a couple of meetings in the upcoming weeks, and I'm charging way more." Oh, Jaime, Jamie. Sorry, I said Jaime. It's Jamie. Hey, I met with Jamie a couple weeks ago. I offer mentorship on this platform called SuperPeer, and Jamie is kicking off his freelance career, and it seems like the meeting we had, Jamie, I'm excited for you. You're charging way more. That's what I want for you, dude. I'm so pumped. Oh yes, I love to hear it when creatives get to charge more for what they do. Okay, so we have everything we need here, right? Let's make sure. I mean, if we're going to make this button, let's make sure we're using our button, shall we? Boom. Let's bring our button up in here because we had like a static version of the button. Okay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, here's what we need to do. We need to take this whole thing, right? And I'm going to press Command Control K and turn it into a variant. Will this work? Will it sync or will it float? What do you think? Okay. So let's make a variant, shall we? Let's make variant 2 out of the entire artboard. Oh, mama. Oh, we're about to do some stuff. Okay, hold on. Let's take this. Oh, no. I don't want to do that, but I do want to stretch out this variant artboard, and I want to see how we're working. This entire artboard is now a variant. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. What do we want to do? So this is default. Let's call this screen 2. Okay, easy. And then what we're going to do inside screen 2 is we're going to move the little fella over. Whoop. We're going to move this little fella over, and let's zoom in now, and let's move our little active state. Whoop, right there. I actually didn't like how this thing, I did like it. It was fine. It was just fine how it was. Everything's a little uneven. I'm going to be really honest. Everything's a little bit messy. Not everything's aligned. Please don't judge me, because the whole point of this is just to talk about the interactive components, really. Okay, cool. That's number 2. Let's do another one. Here's what I really want to do is I want to stop moving around. So I'm going to move this thing over. Great. With interactive components, you can create a new variant. With variants, you can create a new variant depending on whichever one you've selected. So I'm selecting this one. I want to start from there. If I would have had the other one selected, the original default artboard, I'm starting from there. But it's a really nice flow. Hey, I create one, I move stuff, go off that next one, move some more stuff, right? Okay, I'm gonna move some more stuff. That goes in. Our little doodad, our little title or value propositions move over, and our little active state, whoop, moves right over there. Okay. All right. So now we have 3 different states. Let's call this one screen 3. Here's our onboarding flow. We should be able to, oh, hello. What just happened? Let's go back to our assets. Here's our onboarding flow. Okay, now I'm singing because it's Friday, and I'm happy that it's Friday. Hey, it's Good Friday, everybody. Happy Good Friday. Hope you guys are enjoying your Good Friday, going to spend time with family. All right, here we go. Now we have, cool. Now we have an instance of our component that has different variants, okay? We're going to prototype that here in a second. Let's make sure that we are ready to prototype that by smacking our prototype onto that variant. Okay, but we're not quite done yet. We need to do some stuff, right? Okay, so now we need to do smart interactions, okay, or in interactive components. Golly, the terminology. I love Figma, and I love all these features they're releasing. I'm not the biggest fan on some of the terminology they're using. It's hard to say. Okay, cool. So let's grab the button, and let's go there. Let's say on click, change to screen 2, smart animated. Okay, let's try it again. On click, change to screen 3. Should work in theory. Okay, we have a clickable space right here. Boom. It worked. All done. Go home. You're hired. Ship it. Amazing. Okay. And so you're like, yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's not the greatest thing, obviously, right? We could change the easy, we could change the timing, but we're talking interactive components here. It's pretty cool. Let's do something else, shall we? Let's see if the drag gestures work for our interactive components, or if we'll get strange, weird flickering like we did with other things. Let's stretch this bad boy out a little bit more too. I want to be able to work. What I do love about variants, I'm not going to lie, is I love that you can create your own variant bounding box and work inside of it. Really, really cool. Hey, Masayu says that tea is the choice of the day for the drink. Emmanuel Duress asks, do you use new design trends for your design? Hey, let's stop really quick before we get to these drag gestures. Let's answer some questions. It's a good time for question and answer time with Jesse. Okay, let's see. Emmanuel asks, do you use new design trends in your work? Yes and no. Yes and no. Anybody, side note, anybody see like the little edge of my green screen back here? I'm going to move it over. Yep, there we go. Now you can't see it. I do use some design trends in my work. You can't avoid trends. I think a lot of times clients see trends and they want things that are trendy, but I try to limit the amount. I try to subdue it because trends will come and go, but what's always going to be good is good design principles. That's what's always going to be good. So keep that in mind. That's just me. Okay, cool. Do you, let's see. Why is this not working? That's me whenever I start prototyping. Annalie, thank you. I'm not the only one. If it's not working for you right now, maybe you don't have interactive components. Maybe you're not part of the beta. But, you know, I definitely quite often when I'm starting a design project, I'm thinking, why isn't this working? You know what's the most embarrassing is quite often when I'm starting one of these streams, I'm going, why isn't this working? So that's the thing. Let's look. We're looking for more questions. Who's got questions in the chat? Rahul says, how do you get inspiration for social media designs? Oh, yeah. I'm going to be really honest. I'm horrible at social media designs because I'm horrible at social media because I think a lot of people, I love doing YouTube. I especially love live streaming. I love talking with you guys. I love chatting with you guys. I love making content that people will find valuable. When I think of like Instagram and making carousels, I just don't like doing it. So if you notice, I'm just not like a super duper awesome like Instagram social media kind of guy because at the end of the day, it's just not my jam. It's not my vibe. So how do I get inspiration for it though? I just look at lots of other things. I see the styles and the things that people are making. I mean, literally, like I started doing carousel like swipey posts like right as they got it, like before they got hot, and then everybody jumped on board. So everyone sees what everyone else is doing, sees what's working, and they start doing it. That's kind of, I mean, you just look at lots of stuff. Okay, how can we have interactive components beta on Figma? I'm telling you, I think you're supposed to just go here to Figma's community page and you should be able to find, where are you, interactive components. I don't know why I'm not finding it though. Interactive components. Boy, oh boy, yeah, it's not coming up, is it? I don't know why though, because that's where I found it. I found it in one of these community files. Maybe that's really, maybe I should just do a Google search. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing a really, really bad job at like telling you guys and educating you guys on things, but I found it here in the community. Maybe you should need to go online, do a Google search and sign up for it. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's out of beta and maybe it's just in, I don't know. But definitely look it up, figure it out. Let us know in the chat if you figure it out, because I don't have all the answers, but maybe you have the answer and we would love to know that. Okay. What are your thoughts on UI animations? How important is it to learn, and what is its future? I think animations are a huge deal right now. I think that if you're a UI designer and you're looking for some sort of supporting skill that can like bring value to your offering as like, you know, in your workplace, on freelance projects, if you are a UI designer that also is pretty good at motion or animation, you're gonna like, it's kind of a big deal right now because everybody wants that delight inside of their interfaces. Everybody wants that hit of dopamine. So I think it's a big deal if you can do it. And there's probably some courses out there you could take. I know the Future has a course on animation for designers. Maybe think about that one. I just saw that in my inbox the other day. Last question by Chase Webb before we get back to our design says, we've started adopting Adobe XD recently, but it looks like all the cool kids are using Figma. Are we making a mistake? Oh, now we're talking tool specific stuff. I think it kind of depends. It depends on your guys' workflow. It depends on what you like. Are you a big team? Are you a small team? What kind of things do you want to do inside of your design tool? What things do you have external processes for? Like for instance, I love Figma especially for bigger teams, because you can be working in the same document, live cursors, presenting work to each other, commenting on work with each other. It's just really clean flow. I like it a lot. But maybe you don't mind in Adobe XD, you have to share your files out to kind of like a developer inspector space. That's like a link in the browser. Maybe you like that. Sketch has something like called Sketch Cloud. I don't know. They all have their different things, right? I would definitely say that Adobe XD leans towards the really, really easy animating stuff. They got new like 3D stuff or perspective stuff inside. So, you know, if you really like that, if you're onto it, here's my biggest thing I would say before I move on from this question. Excuse me. That if you're chasing features, you're going to be bouncing back and forth forever, because this whole thing is a big feature race, right? They're all just putting out features and putting out features. And Adobe XD was like, we have auto animate. And like 3 months later, Figma was like, fine, we'll put smart animate out. So they're all competing with each other, obviously. So my thing is, pick one that works for you. Try to stick with it for like the long haul if you can. You know, I will say last thing, PSS, is when I was working at a startup for a couple of years, I moved them off of, they were on Photoshop. They were designing UI in Photoshop, and I moved them onto Sketch. And then we were on Sketch for like 2 years. And then I was like, you know what? I really think Figma would be beneficial. I can get code snippets out of it. We can work in the same file. There's version control. And we're like, yeah, let's make the switch to Figma for those reasons. They were important to us as a design culture. So yeah, make the switch, or don't make the switch. Choose which one works for you as a team, and then try to stick with it if you can. All right, those are great questions. Let's get back to some design work. Here we go. We'll be answering some more questions in a little bit. Okay, so what did we do? We set up a little, let's press R to reset your prototype. And we set up some interactive components, right? Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now let's see if drag gestures work. I want to drag on the entire card, on the entire artboard, and see if this works. On, drag, change to screen 2, smart animate. On, drag, change to screen 3, smart animate. Now let's go back. Drag back. And can we drag backwards this way? Sometimes the drag gestures work, you know, both ways. Sometimes they don't though. So let's restart this bad boy and see if it works. I can now grab anywhere on the card. Boom. Oh, see, that's the one that doesn't work, right? Doesn't work there as much, but that's okay. It's pretty close. Boom, boom. Pretty cool. And then our next buttons work. Okay, that's pretty fun. I think this kind of works. Now, if we're talking interactive components and we want to have some fun with this thing, let's go back into design here and let's talk about this other variant really quick. I want to take this other variant and I want to kind of, what do I kind of want to do? Oh, we're filling the image. Okay, that's okay. I just want to have some fun with the images themselves. Like for instance, oh, I know what I'll do. This image could be much smaller, right? Okay, so the second image is a little bit smaller, and that way, as it's moving into place here, we can make it grow like that. That could be kind of nice. Okay, that could be kind of cool. I don't know. Let's see what that looks like. Boom. Now we're just having fun, right? Here, boom. There's a little bit of growth. It's kind of a really stark jump, isn't it? So let's go to our prototype and let's assess this. On click, let's see. We want to smart animate. Let's make it a little slower, maybe like 500 milliseconds. Let's do ease in and ease out. We could do custom easing, but let's just try that. Let's see how that looks really quickly. Okay, let's press play again. Boom, and restart our prototype. Now, a little bit slower, a little bit better in my opinion, right? And we get a little bit of that growth out of the image. So you can play with it, have all sorts of fun with it. I think that could be cool. You could also, you know, like for instance, on the way out, you could start to fade these down. Boom, just a little bit like that. This is like basic stuff, right? And like it now, this is kind of, it feels like we're going artboard to artboard, doing old school styles of animation, but we're doing it all within the variants and with all like within the interactive components, which is really, really cool. Okay, so that's kind of like the basics of our onboarding. That saved us from having 3 separate screens, and then Now we can literally go to our assets and go, boom, we have a new onboarding right there. Let's put an onboarding right there. Easy, no problem. Okay, so that's a fun thing you could do. Let's talk a few more small kind of interactions that we can do with interactive components. This is like obviously like the real basic one, right? Like we can take F for frame and draw out a frame. It has a background. We're going to round the corners. We should try to use frames for as much stuff as possible instead of drawing rectangles and grouping shapes together. We don't want to do that anymore, right? We want to create a frame and call this a toggle, something like that. And then we can draw a little oval inside of it for a little toggle switch. This will be super easy to do. And let's just, yep, something like that. And let's see. We probably want this to be more of kind of a nice neutral gray color. Let's make our little toggle button white like that. I like that. And then we're gonna make our background even a little bit darker, something. Yeah, let's make it darker like that so we can see it. Okay, so now we have this little toggle switch. We're probably gonna want to have boom, boom, boom. We're gonna want to have an active state behind it, right? So let's go here. I'm gonna put it behind. I'm gonna call it our active state, and let's put a color on that thing, like blue, for instance. That's gonna fill our entire thing once it kind of moves across to the other side. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, let's make a component out of this. Command Option K, or you could hit this little guy up here to make our component. Let's make a variant. Boom. We're gonna make this the on. Okay, and that means we're gonna move our toggle over, and we're gonna expand this thing out. Boom, like this, and we're going to. Oh no! What did we do? You know what? It's because I drew a circle. Get that corn out of my face. We shouldn't be drawing circles. We should be drawing frames inside of frames inside of frames, shouldn't we? So let's move this little guy over here. That needs to go. I'm gonna duplicate. No, I'm just gonna draw another frame like this. Okay. Again, use frames for as much stuff as you can. It's way better. Let's fill it with our brand blue. Okay, and then let's turn the border radius on this thing. Now, this is the difference between frames and shapes, right? So like the frame is going to keep that length because it's a frame. So it's not gonna like distort the shape. So let's tuck this little thing behind. Again, we're calling this active. Okay, we want to hide it behind our little thing. Okay, good. We have default here. Let's call this off like that. No, we don't want to do that. Let's keep it default. And let's make, let's make a variant out of this bad boy. Boom, there we go. This one is going to be the one that's called on, and we're going to bring our little on switch over to here, and we're going to stretch this guy out and across, and now it's on. Very easy, super duper simple. Let's prototype it. Obviously, we want to, when we click this bad boy, we will say on click change to smart animate, and we want to go back on click change to smart animate. Good. Now we should be able to go into our assets panel. Boom, boom, boom. And we should be able to find, if we can, boom, boom, boom. Let's find, where did we put our little toggle? Where did we put our toggle? Oh boy, oh boy. What did we call it? We called it toggle, didn't we? Okay, let's close that. There it is, toggle switch. I was like in search. I was wondering why everything looks so weird inside of my Figma search. That is a massive toggle switch, isn't it? Yike-a-mundos. Okay, so let's go back over here. But now we should be able to toggle our gigantic toggle switch. And again, we prototyped off of the little trigger, the little tab there. If you want to do just the entire switch, you could do that as well. You want to speed it up, slow it down, whatever you want to do. But look, it's one toggle switch, and we could totally mess up our onboarding here. They're all independent of each other, which is really, really cool. I love it. And also, what I love about this is we can set these to start on a different, like a different state, I believe. So we can say toggle, and we should, no, we can't. I thought you could. I thought you could set it to be on or off, but that's fine. Okay, cool. Hey, that works. I think that's it for the day. We have done some fun stuff. Let's answer some more questions, and then we will be done for the day. We're not doing portfolio reviews today. Sorry, I don't have time. Don't have time for that, but we'll be doing those next week for sure. Okay, you guys can apply here for Figma Interactive Component Beta. Oh, you must have posted a link. I wish you could do that. I'm sorry. I wish I knew where that link was. I could look it up, probably. I could probably look it up and post it. Figma Interactive Components. I'm going to look it up for you guys while I answer some questions. Okay, how to improve if your design isn't that impressive? How to move forward? Egoistic Prince says. Okay, that's a great question. How do you move forward? How do you grow? How do you get better? And that's again a really, really good question. I think what you want to do is you want to challenge yourself. And I'm going to put a link to, no, I'm not going to put a link. Whoa. How do I do it? If you want to get better at design, you need to challenge yourself. So here's the 3 things I would recommend off the top of my head. I think you would need to create your own challenges, okay? Like maybe the Adobe XD challenges would be good for you. Join me if I'm hosting one, or join somebody else. But just, you need something that presses you forward and encourages you to make things that maybe you've never done before. So you need to challenge yourself. Number 2, you need to saturate yourself with it. You need to get your hands really like just embedded into design. You should be creating something every day if you can. Spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It's about putting in the time. And then 3rd, you need to get feedback. It's important. It's important that you get feedback. So I'm going to see if I can post this link. Can I post a link in here? Oh, I think I posted a link in the chat. That's where I think you could find some help on where to get your Figma, Boom, I'm going to pin that message. Boom, there it is. Okay. That's Figma. That's the interactive components beta for Figma. So again, you need to challenge yourself, saturate yourself, and then get feedback and critique on your work. That's my recommendation, is that you do that. I hope that answers your question. But I think the biggest thing is don't get discouraged. Don't be discouraged. If you're just starting out or you feel like you've plateaued, everybody feels like that. The only way you're going to get better is to power through and do those 3 things. But you have to fight off imposter syndrome. That doesn't belong here. You're good. You keep pressing, you keep doing, you keep accomplishing, you'll be fine. Okay. Okay, here we go. How do we use Figma animation curves? You can animate curves in Figma really, really easily. Let's jump back over to Figma. I'll show you. Why don't we do that? That's good. Yeah, if you want to animate some curves, let's see. I'm going to draw a little frame out so we have something to work in. And maybe I have a pen tool and I want to do like a graph, like something like this. Okay. I'm drawing my curves in. Let's make them stand out. Let's make them really big like this, okay? And then let's move it across. Okay, so you got this, I just drew the ugliest graph known to man, okay? And let's say you want to animate these things. We could turn it into a component if you want to. Let's turn it into a component, and then let's give it a variant, okay? Variant 2, let's move our variant out over here, okay? Variant 2, you're just going to double click and move some of the points, the nodes, like this. Okay, maybe whoop, this one's stretched out, okay? And then we should be able to go into our assets and we have this horrific chart, okay? And then we could say, let's animate it, because this is what we're doing today. On click, let's change to variant 2, on click, change to variant 1. Cool stuff. Okay, let's go out, go to prototype, make sure our prototypey homey tab thing is there, press play, and when we click, oh, for some reason it's not working. You're right. I assumed that would just work, but it didn't work. What on earth happened there? Okay, let's bring this down. What if we just shrink it like this? Does that mess with it? That's my question. Oh, now I'm really ticked off. Now I'm really like upset. On change, drag to, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. On tap, on click, change to. This is default. This is variant 2, right? Okay, so what if we get rid of this? I'm going to try again because now I'm just really upset. That should work, doggone. It's not working. It's not working at all. On drag, on click, change to variant 2, right? On click. Here we go. Should work now, right? Ooh, it's a little wonky. It's a little wonky, isn't it? You know, and maybe this is just interactive components, because I bet you money if this wasn't a component, watch this. I bet you money if you detach the instance of this and go frame 1, frame 2, right? And say, I mean, you'd be able to like really do some different stuff here, I bet. if you said from here on click, navigate to frame 2, and you went back, if you did this old school type of like prototyping like this, ooh, it looks the same. Okay, so apparently what I'm learning is, and I didn't know this until now, but animating curved paths can be a little wonky inside of Figma. I'll tell you what it's not, and Adobe XD does this really, really well. You don't get any of this weird like auto aliasing like weirdness here. That is a thing. So I don't know, maybe that's important for you. Vector 1, it's all the same, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, that's the thing. So sorry about that. I hope that I hope that answered your question through my failure. Okay, cool. Let's do how do we use Figma animation and curves? Yep. Is there a way to combine Figma with Python? Ooh, nope. I don't think so. I think anything that you create comes with some code, and that code is usually for iOS, Android, CSS. And it comes with certain properties and values like this over here. Let me move out of the way. But I mean, I don't know how that translates to Python. I don't code in Python. So man, I wish I knew, but there's got to be a way. You know what you could do? I'm gonna find out right now. I'm gonna go plugins, browse plugins in the community. Let's go Python. Is there some sort of Python? Nope, there's no Python plugins. That was my last ditch effort or hope for it, brother. Sorry. Okay. Yep. Let's see. Any other questions we have in the chat? Pop them in the chat. Let's finish this thing strong by answering some of these questions. That'd be super great. What are you? Woo, how important is to learn? What is the future? Oh, I think we already answered the question about UI animations. That is, that was a great question. Is there any way to? Nope. Can you please show how to fix login so others can log in? I don't know what that means. I don't have a log, just like a login interface. I'm not sure. Reginald says, I'm going to stop being a plumber and do this for a living. Yes, do it, Reginald. I'm excited. Are you really a plumber? That would be really exciting. I would love to hear your testimony or your story of you transitioning out of plumbing to stop plumbing and start designing. That would be really cool. Okay. Can you do posters in Figma? Sure. Why not? You can do anything that's vector format in Figma. It's great. Side note, I found this great plugin the other day. This is totally off the cusp, but there's a plugin called Remove Background, and you can literally do exactly what it says, which is remove backgrounds from things. So like, watch this. If I have a picture, an image, like an image like this, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I will say that if your image is too big, sometimes it has trouble. But if you like drag an image like this and you go to plugins and remove background, well, select this guy and remove background and run, it's running. Remove background. Will it work this time? Oh my gosh. And I'm doing all of this without showing you on the screen. Why am I doing that? Let's go back and show you. So I just have like a normal image. This is a plugin that I love. I don't know why you said posters. I was like, hey, maybe if you have an image you want to cut out. A lot of times we have to cut over to like Photoshop and do that. You just go and use the remove background plugin, and look, it's going to run and remove the background like from the design or from the picture. You don't have to go anywhere to do it. It's insane what you can do inside of Figma. Crazy town. I know everyone said can't see. I'm sorry. I was doing stuff on the screen. I get so excited sometimes that I don't flip over to my screen. Sorry about that. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yeah. Okay. Oh, somebody said, oh, the problem I was having with my original button was because I created a loop for hover. Oh, that's right. That's right. I did create a loop for a hover. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's go back and do these hovers again, because that's, why am I so dumb? I created a loop. Take that loop off there. When you, while hovering, that should work, right? Oh, yes. That's what it was. Duh. Let's go back up and let's start here. Assign our start to, oh wait, where's our, oh, here it is. Boom, on our prototype, like that. Let's take away all these ugly toggle switches. I don't know, let's keep one just for fun, because that's pretty fun. And then now our button should hover, I think, right? Let's try it. Hover, boom, boom. That's right, because I said on hover, and then on the other one I said on hover. All you have to do is say while hovering over this state, transition it to the next state. As soon as you are not hovering anymore. Come on. Think, Jesse, think. Okay, cool. Thank you for pointing that out. The chat is always so helpful. But that's super good. That's super fun. Boom. Look at that. That's so much better. Not that you have hovers on mobile, but still, you get the idea. You know what I'm saying. Okay, that was great. That was a great fix. Let's see. Can you do a quick tutorial on opening the Figma desktop app from the Figma browser? No, I don't think I can do that because you just open it up, I think. I don't know. I never use it in the browser, to be really honest. Just open up the desktop app. That's what I do. So I wish I could help you. I don't think you can do animation of 3D objects inside of Figma, but there are some fun plugins like Vectory is a great plugin that you can add 3D elements there. If you want to animate stuff like maybe in a website, you could use something like Spline, which is a great 3D tool. But what I would do is I would create my 3D animation somewhere. I'd take a screenshot, slap that in, or you can do GIFs, turn it into a GIF and pop that into Figma. That can happen as well. But you can't animate 3D things. You could make a 3D object, bring it in, and then move it around in 2D to the second dimension, to not 3D, but 2D. Okay. How do you increase the size of your artboard? Easy in Sketch by clicking on the artboard name, then drag. But when I try it in Figma, it stretches other elements. Oh, I see. You're talking about kind of some of the responsive resizing. So for instance, if I have, let's get rid of all of the things on this artboard. And I put like one of our, I don't know, a button out there. And maybe let's draw a rectangle just so we have some other sort of element. You're saying when you stretch, things stretch inside of Figma, right? Well, nothing stretches here. And here's the reason. Because I have like kind of like your responsive resize stuff is like your basic responsive resize stuff is here. Like, so for instance, right now my rectangle, can't talk right now, has constraints set to stay anchored to the top left. If it was to stay anchored to the top right inside of Figma, then when I stretch my artboard, that rectangle is going to try to stay anchored to the right. But if I say left and right, now it's going to try to scale. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. Keep that in mind. You can do that with your buttons, your elements, all that stuff. You can also, I don't know if this answers your question, you can always just hit K and you can scale everything up, right? Using the scale tool. That's a thing you can do as well. You can also set things to auto layout and start working with the auto layouts of things. Man, there's lots you can do. I did an entire video on auto layout and kind of responsive resizing inside of Figma, so maybe check that one out if you're interested. Yes, you can have scroll animations, parallax animations. You could do them a little bit, kind of. You can do them like on drag, and then you can move other things, other elements. I don't have time to show you that today, but boom, that's gonna be awesome. Saral says Bravo is coming for Adobe XD. How excited are you? Pretty excited. I'm excited for any tool to give access to designers to make or to bring their designs or their creations to life. I'm excited about anything like that. So very, very excited about all that stuff. Okay, well, I think that's all I have time for the day. We're coming close to the hour. So let's do one more question. Let's see, one more question, and then we can get, Suleiman says, please, how do you do a prototype in presentation mode? Mine is not displaying properly. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything else. You just have to make sure that the layers are the same. If you're smart animating back and forth between things, layer names are the same. The object is still the same. So if it started out as a shape and you turn it into a path, all of a sudden it's a different thing, right? So keep those basic principles. It should work in everything. So let's answer this question by Carolyn Macaluso, a sketch user here, but tasked with animations and stumbled across your broadcast. How does the animation that you are demoing here translate to output for iOS, Android, or PWA, or can it output to JSON and Lottie? I believe you can do, there is a Lottie plugin. Let's see what it does. I tell you, how does it translate? Just kind of across the board of doing animations. You can define some easing and animation stuff. You can definitely do that. When you go over to the inspect mode, you're not going to get anything about animation though. So if that's something you really need and it's crucial, I wouldn't do it inside of Figma. So that hopefully that answers the first part of your question. But there are some things you can do inside of inside of Figma. Like you can apply Lottie animations in. I don't know if you can do Lottie animations out, but there's definitely a workflow for it where you can, yeah, you can drop JSON inside of here, but that's not really answering your question, is it? You're asking, can you output to JSON? I don't think so. I don't think so, but I may not know so. So again, like if you're looking for Figma to be some sort of upgrade in animation versus Sketch, that's not what it's doing. It's a fantastic UI design tool. It has some animation effects inside of it. It has great plugins that allow you to do things. If somebody knows of a plugin that allows you to do what Carolyn is asking, please put that in the chat, because I don't know that off the top of my head. But there is some other workflows using like Lottie and body moving and After Effects. I don't know if you're aware of that workflow. I did a tutorial on it a while ago. It may be out of date now, using Sketch. So you can create animations or you can create SVG elements inside of Sketch or Figma, I would guess. You can export them through a plugin called Body Movin', and then you can bring those into After Effects and actually do all the animating stuff that you want to do, and then export it with Body Movin' to an animated SVG that has all like JSON code and everything. So that's the thing you can do, and I demonstrate how to do that. So if that's something you're looking for, that'd be super great. You can create all of your own custom animations. I did a bunch of them for the last company that I worked for, like a success animation, like on tap, or like favoriting animations and stuff. So okay, I think that's, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Hey everybody, I hope you had a fun time on the stream. I know that I did. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for always having such a great attitude. And meet me here next week. We're going to be doing another live stream, same time, same channel. And I'll be giving you links on where you can submit your portfolios for portfolio review. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. Hope you have a great Easter weekend. Spend time with family, relax, you know, all that good stuff. So hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you next time. Take care. Aloha.